Welcome to the Design section. All changes made in the Design section are instantly visible in the left-hand area. I enter the Menu Operations section. Here we determine our main menu bar and submenu features related to our main menu. While editing our menu from the Menu Operations section, we can choose a submenu type for each title in the main menu bar. To these submenus, we decide as a drop-down menu, mega menu or picture menu. First of all, I determine the font for the menus. I enter the main menu design section. Changes we make in the main menu bar do not affect the submenus. The colored places of the symbols on the right show the parts where the change will be applied. I set the background color of the main menu bar. If we want, we can specify the color codes by writing them. I determine the color of the text in the main menu bar. I determine the background color of the last selected title. I determine the text color of the last selected title. I determine the background color of the selected title while the mouse cursor is on it. I determine the text color of the selected title while the mouse cursor is on it. I determine the color of the line of the titles in the main menu bar. I determine the size of the text in the main menu bar. Right now, I clicked on the menu size change part once. Now I determine the size I want with the right and left keys on the keyboard. I can also adjust it by dragging with the mouse. In the same way, I determine the thickness of the text in the main menu bar. I determine the size of the pictures in the main menu bar. I choose the line effect type during the mouse cursor transition in the main menu bar. I choose the line effect color. I enter the drop-down menu design section. If we have a submenu selected in the drop-down menu type, we make the changes here. I set the background color of the drop-down menu. I set the text color of the drop-down menu. I determine the background color of the selected title while the mouse cursor is on it. I determine the text color of the selected title while the mouse cursor is on it. I set the underline color for the drop-down menu titles. I determine the size of the text in the drop-down menu. I determine the thickness of the text. I determine the picture height. I enter the Mega Menu Design section. If we have a submenu that we choose in the Mega Menu type, we make the changes here. I set the Mega Menu background color. I set the Mega Menu title background color. I set the Mega Menu title text color. I determine the Mega Menu text color. I determine the background color of the selected title while the mouse cursor is on it. I determine the text color of the selected title while the mouse cursor is on it. I determine the size of the Mega Menu title text. I determine the thickness of the title text. I determine the Mega Menu font size. I determine the font thickness. I determine the picture height. I enter the Picture Menu Design section. If we have a submenu that we choose in the picture menu type, we make the changes here. I set the picture menu background color. I determine the font color. I determine the background color of the selected title while the mouse cursor is on it. I determine the text color of the selected title while the mouse cursor is on it. I determine the image menu font size. I determine the font thickness. I determine the picture height. The width of the pictures is determined automatically according to the number of picture submenus you create. When uploading images, we recommend that you upload them with this in mind. I enter the social media section. I determine the size of the social media icons. I decide whether social media icons will appear or not. If we want social media icons to appear, we decide which ones will appear here. I enter the corporate information section. First of all, I determine the font for corporate information. I enter the search bar section. I set the background color of the search button. I set the icon color of the search button. I set the background color of the search button when the mouse cursor is on it. I set the search button icon color when the mouse cursor is on it. I set the search button icon size. I decide whether or not the search bar will appear. I enter the Mail Properties section. I set the mail icon color. I determine the mail font color. I set the mail icon size. I determine the mail font size. I determine the mail text thickness. I decide whether the mail section will appear or not. I go to the Phone Features section. I set the phone icon color. I determine the color of the phone numbers. I set the phone icon size. I determine the size of the phone numbers. I determine the thickness of the phone numbers. I decide whether the phone section is visible or not. I enter the Working Hours section. I set the working hours icon color. I determine the working hours text color. I set the working hours icon size. I determine the working hours font size. I determine the working hours text thickness. I decide whether the working hours will appear or not. I enter the Logo section. I adjust the size of the logo. I decide whether the logo will appear or not. I enter the Slogan section. I determine the slogan font. I determine the slogan text color. I determine the slogan font size. I determine the font thickness. We can decide whether the text we wrote or the picture we uploaded will appear for the slogan. To upload a picture, you can upload a picture by clicking the pencil button that opens when you click the plus button. I decide whether the slogan will appear or not. I enter the top advertisement section. I decide whether the top ad will appear or not. Thank you for listening.